GM guys, this is Cap, and today this is gonna be a quick demo. I'm just showing you how you can list your ENS names on Namespace platform and start minting subnames on base chain. Yes, we're officially rolling out the base chain support and minting subnames on base. So without further ado, go to namespace.tech, go open the app, or just you can go directly to app.namespace.tech, connect your wallet. Once you go through all of that, give me a second, you have to have an ENS name. Obviously, if you don't have one, you can register one at app.ens.domains, or since you're here, you can register one directly from our platform. Just find an ENS name that is available, register one, and you're good to go. So on to next step. By the way, since we're doing the base demo, I'm going to be using one of my base names. I think I have some pretty cool ones. So once you're set on the name, you click on the account. By the way, the account page is a pretty straightforward namespace profile overview. It gives you the overview of your profile, which you can update and customize. It gives you the overview of your connected wallet. These are all of your ENS names that are associated with this account, subnames as well. But then again, once you have an ENS name that you want to start minting subnames from, you go to the manager and you select that name from all of your ENS names. So for me, that's going to be something with base. Let's see, what do we have here? So I tested these two. Let's do based summer.eth. Okay, perfect. So by the way, I'm doing the demo directly on Ethereum mainnet, so yeah, you can follow along. But if you want to test it first, you can switch to Sepolia, and that one will communicate directly with base Sepolia. So if you want to test the listing first on base and Sepolia networks, on test networks. But anyway, back to our demo. So we have chosen base summer.eth, and we want to start minting subnames right now. Just for reference, we first build the support for minting subnames on L1 or on Ethereum. So these subnames are 100% fully on Ethereum mainnet, and as such are unruggable. So 100% unruggable subnames are being minted in a way that they are emancipated from the parent level name. So if this is the use case that is most suitable for you guys, if you want to issue subnames to your community or whoever on Ethereum mainnet and 100% fully unruggable, this is the use case that you should use to list the ENS name, and it's gonna work. Minting side is gonna work pretty much the same. Alternatively, we have support for minting subnames on L2s. For now, we have support for base only, but in the future, it's gonna be a lot more. So let's go ahead. So we have list based summer.eth. Let's see how the listing goes. So for starters, we have to do the collection configuration. So this is pretty straightforward, and we choose the collection name. So let's say based summer. You can choose, by the way, anything in here. The collection symbol is like a mandatory thing that you have to choose when deploying contracts on any chain. So let's say like based summer.eth, or I mean, like even without that, like this can be anything that you want as a collection symbol. In here, you choose the chain that you want to deploy this on. For now, as I said, we're supporting just base, but in the future, there will be a lot more. And I think we remember that someone from ENS Devs group asked for subnames to be minted on L2 chains, but also they wanted subnames to be burnable. So in future, if they want to wipe everything clean and remove all of the subnames that are associated with their second level name and just sell it completely clean of every subnames underneath it, they can turn this option burnable on, and that means that they will retain the ownership of the subnames in a sense that they can burn them. They cannot change the records and stuff like that, but if they decide to burn them, they would be able to do so. So whoever is listing the name and setting this on, so the subnames are burnable, should be transparent and communicate with their community that this option is enabled. But anyway, we're not going to do that, so let's toggle it off. The next one is customizing the minting price. So we can set the base price, for example, to be 0.00025 Ethereum. So this base price acts as a default price, and all of the subnames right now will cost this much. By the way, if you want to issue them for free, you can just set this to 0. But in our example, I want them to cost like however much this is, probably like, I don't know, like 20-30 cents or whatever. But anyway, so this is base or default price. next we have the price customization based on length of the subname. So we can say 1-letter subname can cost 1 Ethereum, 2-letter subname can cost 0.5 Ethereum, 3-letter subname can cost 0. Whatever, 3, 2, whatever, 4-letter one, 5-letter one can cost, and so on. You can do this for however many character lengths you want. So now when someone types 1-letter or 2-letter or 3-letter name and they want to mint that subname, these pricing rules will take precedent over this one. But if they continue typing and then they type like 4 and 5 and 6 character subnames, will revert back to the base price or the default price. Yep, pretty straightforward. And then we have some other special subname rules, like for example, you can customize the price only for numbers. You can set the specific price for like letters only, or for emojis only. So if anyone wants to mint like, let's say 1 or 2 or 3 emojis together, let's say the price will be 5 Ethereum, just to test it. Okay, so we're done with the pricing configuration. Let's proceed to the reservations. So in here, you're basically allowed the option to reserve some subnames for yourself and basically disallow everyone else to mint them. So it really depends on the context of your listing and for what purpose you're listing your name and allowing subnames to be minted for. Okay, so you are maybe listing your ENS name for the purposes of like running your DAO, and you would want to set aside like, I would want to reserve Cap, so no one can mint me, or Artie, which is my team member, or Bran, or Urosh. So these are guys who are, maybe part of the DAO, and I don't want anyone to mint their subnames. Alternatively, I can reserve, stuff like treasury or email or DAO or whatever, if we're talking about the DAO. But if you're talking, for example, by the way, so you can use this reservation also as a way to forbid some subnames to be minted. So for example, you can disallow minting of every single like swear word. You would have to type them in, and those won't be able to be minted. Yeah. Alternatively, you can reserve subnames to be minted for a special price. So let's say that you're in this game for profit to make money, and you have some cool last names like Smith.eth or whatever. You can set, for example, I want to reserve John, but I want to reserve it to be mintable for the price of like whatever, let's say 11 Ethereum or something crazy like that. Okay. I can do the same for Bill, Mark, and let's say that I'm listing this as I'm listing last name, and I want to reserve all of the first subnames. And we wanted to make this simpler to do like bulk reservations. So if you want to reserve that like a list of, for example, all of the like top 100 first names in the US, you can go ahead in here and then just click and upload your CSV file. And by the way, you have a guide in here just to see how the CSV file should look like. And if you go here and scroll down, so this is the one. So the first column has to be just the names of the subnames that you're reserving. And the second column is the price that you are reserving them to be sold for. Okay, again, pretty straightforward, but you can just read these to make sure that you have everything correct. Okay, so yeah, let's say that we are happy with these reservations, and let's move on. The next one is the deadline. So deadline is essentially you setting the future date at which minting will stop. It's pretty straightforward. The next one is whitelisting. So we have two different whitelisting options. First one says only whitelisted addresses in here below will be able to mint, which means everyone else would basically fail. So if I type the cap.eth, that means only this address will be able to mint subnames from based_summer.eth. And if I select the second one, that means that whitelisted addresses can mint for free. So this address or me can mint for free, and everyone else would have to pay for these prices that we had set up earlier. Okay, again, pretty cool, pretty straightforward, but let's turn this off for the purpose of this demo. And then the last one is token gating. So you're essentially token gating minting subnames. There's three different ways that you can token gate with, which is three different token standards: ERC20, 721, 1155. So for ERC20, which are the regular tokens, we can say, for example, if I paste the ENS contract in here, let's say that this is the ENS contract, and after I paste it in here and I say what is the required minimum amount that the user would have to have in order to qualify for, to be able to mint the subname, and I can say, okay, they have to have 10 ENS tokens in order to mint subnames from based_summer.eth. And I can do this for every single token on every single chain out there, whether it's Base or on mainnet or whatever. This will basically token gate access to minting. The same thing applies for ERC 721 and 1155, but these are NFTs. So essentially what you would do is that you have, for example, like maybe an NFT collection, and you want to allow only people who have an NFT from that NFT collection to be able to mint subnames from this name that we are listing. So you would just paste the contract address of that collection in here and proceed to list. Since I don't have everything ready, I'll just switch this off and I will proceed to mint because I am happy with everything in here that I had just set up. Okay, so list name. A listing is a few step process that is pretty straightforward. You don't have to know anything about it. Deploying the collection or deploying this registry, it's done on base. Again, it's pretty straightforward. It's gonna ask me to switch to base, and deployment it's gonna take place on base. As you can see, it's pretty cheap. It says that you have to make sure that name and symbol and these burnable features are you have set the parameters for them, or just like the configuration for them is done correctly, because those are immutable records and you cannot change them. Like you can update the base price, the minting price, you can change the pricing configuration and everything else. You can change the reservations, you can change the whitelisting option, so you can add more people to the whitelisting, or you can remove some addresses to be from the whitelisting, and so forth. But these three ones you cannot change, so just make sure that these three are set correctly from the get-go. You have to switch then as a last step on Ethereum mainnet again, just to update the resolver or on the ENS name that you're listing. So for this case, we're updating the resolver of based summer, and we are setting the namespace's official off-chain resolver. And we are using this resolver to resolve subnames that are minted underneath this ENS name, just to make sure that they resolve in, MetaMask and all of the wallets that support ENS, and pretty much all of the integrations that support ENS out there. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. So once this goes through, we are now okay. We have officially listed basesummer.eth, and people can mint subnames now underneath that name, and those subnames are gonna be minted on base chain and fully stored on base chain, including all of the records and everything, right? And everything like that. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you three different ways that you can mint subnames. First one is through the Namespace platform from the single ENS name page. The second one will be through the ENS widget that we built, and this widget you use to add to your own website. So you're essentially minting subnames from your own website or a blog or a community page or whatever, and you can even add this to multiple websites out there. But I'm gonna get to that when I'm doing the demo for the widget specifically. And then the third one will be specifically for developers, and that is minting through Namespace SDK. Okay, so let's start with the first one. So let's go to based summer and see that name. So this is the single ENS name page, and yep, voila. By the way, don't mind the design. It's a very, very old design, and the new one is coming probably in less than a month. It's gonna be super clean and cool. So, but for now, this is pretty good and it works. And as you can see, the name is listed on base, so this means that subnames will be minted on base as well, and the subname happens here. So let's try to mint cap. We reserved cap, and cap cannot be minted. The same thing will happen for brand. Same thing will happen for whatever we have, like treasury, I think, and treasury. Maybe we didn't reserve treasury. Okay. The same thing will happen for email. I think we reserved email. I think we reserved DAO and so on. For emojis, we set the price to be, I think, 5 Ethereum. Yeah, it's crazy. I think we customized the pricing for first names. So John will be 11 Ethereum, Bill will be whatever, however many Ethereum, and so forth. We have the default price, which will take place for everything else. So if you, for example, combine emoji and something else, that will not include emoji only price, but it will include it as a combination of two. So it will just revert back to the default price, and everything else will be the default price. And we also have the custom pricing for 1-letter subname, for 2-letter subname, and 3-letter subname. And as you can see, these prices are changing. Okay, so let's write testing and see if this works. Let's mint testing.based_summer.eth and see if it works. By the way, so you can decide if you want to automatically set the address record to the wallet that is right now being used to mint the subname, which is my wallet. And I say, okay, I want to set the address record, and I can choose if I want to change the subname owner. So what this essentially does is allow you to mint the subname to someone else's wallet. So basically kind of mint and gift it automatically to someone else. But for now, it's automatically set to your wallet. So essentially, I will be minting this for myself. So I click mint, and this should work. So this is the prices that we had set, and I click confirm, and voila, it's as easy as that. So right now, subnames has been minted on base, and it's fully stored on base, and beautiful. Let's throw some confetti maybe. Let's see if this works. I think it does. Yeah, okay. Okay, take a breath here. So okay, if I refresh this newly minted subname should appear in here, and if I go to app.ens.domains, I type tasting.based.summer.eth, and I see that name, and it's live. It's fully functional and working. It has my address record, and I can set it as a primary name. I can use this ENS subname as any other ENS name or a subname, except this one is stored and fully managed on base, where gas fees are super cheap, and we all love base chain. Yes, so let's also test the resolution. Let's do it in the MetaMask wallet. Send testing dot based summer.eth, and it should result to my address, and this is my address. Perfect. Awesome. And it's gonna work with the base wallet and every other wallet out there and every other product out there that supports ENS. Perfect. Okay. So this is the first way that you can mint subnames using Namespace platform. The second way, as we said, would be through an ENS widget from your own website. So let's go back to the account and click on widgets. So now I click on create new widget and I click sign in. So this is the new widget that I created just now. So let's give it a name. Let's call it based summer. And in here, I choose the widget type. So you have explanations for all of these 4 different widget types, but essentially all subnames means that when you embed the widget on your website and you select all subnames, this means that people who mint subnames using your widget on your website would have access to all of the subnames from all ENS names that have been previously listed on Namespace platform. For owned names, this means that people will be able to mint subnames using your widget from all of the ENS names that you have listed on our platform, and selected names would give them the option to mint subnames from only a select few that you chose, and single selected name, let's select that one, says people will be able to mint subnames from only one ENS name that I choose and add to this widget. So for us, we want that to be based summer, and that's pretty much it. Oh, by the way, so I can allow or choose not to allow second level name registrations. So if I turn this on, people on the widget will be able to mint not only subnames from based summer, but they will also see if I search cap, it will show me the result for cap.basedsummer.eth if that one is free, and it will also show me if cap.eth is free. So this is what this thing does. We have to test it. I haven't tested it in a while, but hopefully it works. You guys can test it and let me know if it works. For now, I'm just gonna switch it off. And once I'm happy with the configurations in here, I click update, and that's pretty much it. So now I click on the integration toggle on, and I just copy this entire script, and you can just paste this script inside of your HTML code or WordPress website or Webflow or whatever it is that you're using for deploying websites. You can even use WebHash. We have a pretty sweet integration for widgets specifically using WebHash, and it's super easy to do. Anyway, I copied it. I'm just gonna test it using our website, which is built in Webflow, as you can see, and should be pretty straightforward. I just paste and I click save, and I'll publish it to this like a staging kind of website, and hopefully this works. Let's see if it gets published. Beautiful. So Namespace LP Webflow. Perfect. Let's just refresh, and this is the widget that pops up, and it says basesummer.eth. So you can mint subnames from this ENS name now, and let's go ahead and test cap Bren or John, the pricing rules are gonna apply to the widget as well, so you don't have to change anything. So your listing will just remain the same regardless of where you choose to mint subnames. If you go back to your based summer.eth single ENS name page, you can mint subnames from there. You can mint them from the widget now, and it all works, and all of the pricing rules are the same, and the reservations are the same. So if I type email, it's gonna say it's reserved. If I type again emoji, it's gonna be 5 Ethereum, and if I type something else, it's gonna default back to the minting price, to the base price, sorry, or the default price. And so yeah, let's do another test and see if it works from here. Again, I can change the subname owner or not, and I can decide whether or not I want to set the address record. So for me, let's say yes. And again, I have to pay for these subnames because for whatever reason I added the price. I'm not sure what happened. Oh, okay, something happened. Perfect. Another test that basesummer.eth successfully minted. Okay, so if we go back to the basesummer.eth and see that name, it should have 2 minted ENS names now. Perfect. Okay, so ENS widget officially works as well, which brings us to the last one and the third way that you can mint subnames, and this is for developers specifically, and it's our newly created namespace SDK. So I want to say as little as possible for our SDK because our documentation should be enough of information for you guys to figure it out. And if you don't, I'll consider that our failure, and hopefully you give us feedback and give us information on how we can improve, what caused you not to be able to do it, what were the kind of the roadblocks on the way, and so forth. So let's go. I'm just give you a very brief overview of where you should go. So just as first, go to docs.namespace.tech. And you can see a bunch of information here. You can go through everything, but if you don't want to do that, just go to dev docs and click on namespace SDK. It's a simple TypeScript library that communicates with both our backend and our contracts. It communicates with our backend in order to get the data for listing configuration and parameters like the pricing, the reservations, the whitelisting, the token gated stuff, and so forth. And yeah, again, it should be pretty straightforward to implement. But if not, let us know what caused the hiccups along the way. Again, the installation file, the how to run a namespace client, some of the functions that you have in here. Again, it should be pretty straightforward. Do go through it and let us know if you have any issues. Just for the sake of convenience, we also build a how-to guide. And it's this one, the second one, mint L1 or L2 subnames using the SDK. And this one should give you a quick walkthrough tutorial on how you can do it and how you can set up everything in here. In case you need it or just wanna test it here first, this one should be pretty straightforward to implement as well. But again, I want to say as little as possible, and I want to make sure that you guys can do this just hands off. Not just you guys, whoever is out there that is testing this. Thank you, by the way, whoever you are that you're watching this. But kind of anyone in the future who comes along and says what is the easiest way for me to start issuing subnames in my app, in my wallet, in my game? You guys should be able just to forward them this documentation, and they should be able to figure it out on your own. Again, the point of Namespace SDK to reduce the amount of time as much as possible for people to integrate ENS with its basic functionality, like name, subname, resolution, and record management and whatnot, but also what I call extended ENS functionality, which is subname registrations on L2 chain specifically. So again, reducing the amount of time for everyone to implement ENS and start minting subnames. I think that's it. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. By the way, so if you want to give us feedback and if you want to test this or if you have any questions, please go to documentation and then go to links and then go to Namespace Devs Telegram group. We're pretty active in there. It's something that I recently started. For now, you have to access it like this because it's private. So it's kind of invite only close circle people who want to help us test new features and new stuff and give us feedback on how we can improve. And anyone who's watching this is more than welcome to join. And with that, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you for your time again. Join the group, let us know, give this a go, test it. We're here for any help if necessary, and that's it. Cheers.